All right, so there was an article on Bleacher Report that talked about the LSU wide receiver. And we're talking about an LSU wide receiver coming to the LA Chargers in this video at the 5th pick. And while everybody is saying, what do the Chargers need? Do they need an offensive lineman? Do they need a defensive tackle? Do they need a corner? Do they need a linebacker? They have the perfect fit, being none other than Malik Nabers. Before we get into that, if you're new to this channel, we started a couple weeks ago. We are already over 1,000 subs. Keep pumping in those subs. We are Lions fans, self-admittedly. We have another channel, Sports Talk Detroit, but we love us some Jim Harbaugh. Wrong hand. You see him up there. Signed picture, right? We love him. We think it's a perfect fit with the Chargers. And let's just be honest, Honolulu Blues and Powder Blues, most beautiful jerseys in the NFL, so it's not hard to like them. So, Bleacher Report said the LA Chargers' perfect pick at number 5 is wide receiver Malik Nabers. They talk about how he is right there with Marvin Harrison Jr., and I agree with that. I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is the safer pick. I think if you're just like, no, I'm just going to pick one player, Marvin Harrison Jr. is your guy because he's 6'4". It's harder for him to bust. It's honestly impossible. The only way for him to bust, it seems like, is to get hurt. But Malik Nabers has some of that it factor. He has that explosiveness. He has that burst. He's going to demand defensive attention. He's going to demand over-the-top help. It'll open up other areas of the field. And let's be honest, as they're saying here, the Chargers' wideout room is a bit of a conundrum. So they took Quentin Johnston last year. That hasn't worked out so well so far. Now, do I think it can be better in the right system? I do. I think he can absolutely be an effective wide receiver, but he doesn't look like a guy who's going to be a number 1. He doesn't. All right? But are they going to keep Keenan Allen? Are they going to keep Mike Williams? And if they decide not to and to address other areas in free agency with some of that money, they could, with the 5th pick, be saying, you know what? We're going to get our next wide receiver of the future because let's hope we don't pick anywhere close to this anytime soon. So if you don't know about Malik Nabers, let me tell you a little bit about this guy. All right? He is the all-time leading wide receiver in LSU history. A place that is becoming an absolute factory for wide receivers over the last 20 years. He has 3,003 total receiving yards. His sophomore year, he had 1,017 yards receiving, all right, which is really good. 10th in school history as a sophomore, all right, or the 10th wide receiver to break the 1,000-yard mark. And then this last year, he went nuts. He caught 89 passes, 1,569 yards. That is good for the 3rd best season in LSU history. All right, so it got me thinking, like, who is he better than? So we'll just take a quick little trip down memory lane. You let me know if you can stick with me. We'll go through this fairly quick. Wendell Davis in 87, 993. Eric Martin, 1,064. By the way, he would have already been here. So he'd be on the top 10 list twice, just in case anybody was wondering. Michael Clayton, he was pretty good, right? Back in 03, Josh Reed did it in 2000. You'll see him here again. Odell Beckham Jr., was he good? Yeah, I think he was good in college. All right. Jarvis Landry. Yeah, he's a pretty good player. Like, this is a list of really good wide receivers. Wendell Davis, again, in 86. All right. Justin Jefferson. He had more yards than Justin Jefferson. All right. The only guys who had bigger season were Josh Reed in 2001 and Jamar Chase in 2019. Now, remember, Jamar Chase had a guy named Joe Burrow throwing to him. All right. Still, I think Herbert's better than Burrow. Just don't tell anybody. All right. He is. Watch the tape. Watch it. Burrow's just been in a different situation. All right. Do I think Nabers could still be there when it's the draft? I absolutely do. Because I think there's a very good chance that the first 3 picks are quarterbacks, or 3 of the first 4 are quarterbacks, depending on what the Bears do with their pick. I think Marvin Harrison's there. There's a weird outside chance that Marvin Harrison Jr. is sitting there at 5, and then you're just like, done, pick it up, let's go. and you get a Buckeye wide receiver to match with a Michigan coach. That's not weird at all, right? This guy is unreal. They're saying he's a sub 4.40 guy. He's not going to run from what I hear in the combine this week. He'll be there for interviews, so you'll get to talk to him. I think a lot of people, and this is one of my takes, a lot of people just say, take Brock Bowers here. And I got no problem with that. Like, I got no problem with taking Brock Bowers here. But if you're going to take Brock Bowers here, just trade back to 8 with the Falcons if there's a quarterback sitting around still. And so if, like, Jaden Daniels drops to 5, if anybody drops to 5, honestly, of the big 3 quarterbacks, Caleb Williams, right, Drake May, if they won't, but if one of them drops to 5, trade back to 8. You know, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is there, take him. If Malik Nabers is there, you can take him. If you really want Brock Bowers, you can trade back to 8. And then if he's gone, you still get Joe Alt or something like that. You are still in a good position to have success. So my theme and my view on this has always been either trade back or draft one of these 2 amazing wide receivers between Harrison Jr. and Malik Nabers, and I don't think you can go wrong with either one of them. They possess something different than what you've seen in a long time with the Chargers. Malik Nabers, see, Herbert has been throwing. Now, Keenan Allen can get open anytime. We know that about him. He'll get open, no problem. All right, especially in underneath and intermediate routes. But he's not a deep ball guy. Mike Williams is absolutely a deep ball guy. He's a 50-50 guy. That's why, by the way, you're seeing him injured so often, because he has to put his body on the line because he's not creating separation. Imagine, and when those guys do get separation, Justin Herbert throws what is honestly the most beautiful deep ball in the NFL. It is a thing of beauty to watch. It is remarkable to see him put it on a rope down the sideline. He can loft it up. It doesn't matter. Like, his arm talent's insane, but his accuracy is insane with it too. Imagine if you get a wide receiver that is able to create 2, 3, 4, 5 yards of separation as he's running those deep routes. Now, instead of 30, 40-yard contested catches, they're catching runs. They're 50 yards. They're 60 yards. They're going to the house. It's just a completely different thing than what you've had before. Get speed on that field. And the defense, and by the way, if you want an offense that can run the football, one of the best ways to do it, right, is running or having a deep threat so you can't bring the safeties up. And if you have multiple deep threats, it's even better. All right, so having a speed wide receiver absolutely helps you run the football. All those reasons are reasons that I say I would actually go Malik Nabers, maybe even over Brock Bowers. That's just kind of my thought. We're going to continue talking about this. We're going to continue talking about free agents. We're going to talk about what players would be good steals in later rounds as we get into the NFL Combine, and we're having fun watching that later this week. But if you haven't yet, like and subscribe to this channel. We want to be your go-to spot for Chargers content. This has been so much fun just in the few weeks that we've been doing this channel. It's been a blast. The Chargers fans are great. You guys are awesome. You get us, we get you. Lions, Chargers, let's go. See you on the next one.